It all began as a harmless game, a simple, silly TikTok trend that everyone in Lagos wanted to try. They called it number the Zero Filter Challenge, a 24-hour dare that required participants to say the absolute truth to everyone they met. No sugarcoating, no lies, no polite filters. Just raw, unfiltered honesty, live on camera. It began innocently enough. The first few videos were harmless. Friends laughing as they confess who stole the last jollof rice, girlfriends teasing their boyfriends for fake designer shoes, siblings exposing who finished the malt in the fridge. It was all fun and games. Until the line between truth and cruelty began to blur. The challenge rewarded the boldest confessions, the ones that cut deepest, hurt the most, and made people gasp. The more shocking your truth, the more views you got. TikTok was now filled with people destroying relationships for clout. Say it, don't hold back, the comment section screamed. We want the real you. Among those who jumped on the trend was Amara, a 2-3-year-old content creator known for her relatable Lagos vlogs and her infectious laughter. She wasn't a troublemaker. In fact, her followers loved her for being sweet, gentle, and genuine. Her best friend Chioma, however, was the fire to her, calm, bold, confident, and fierce, always dragging Amara out of her shell. The two girls were inseparable. They filmed together, lived together, and even wore matching wigs when making videos. People online called them sisters in content. Their friendship was the kind that everyone admired until the night number Zero Filter Challenge entered their lives and burnt everything to ashes. It started one lazy Friday night. Amara and Chioma sat in their Lekki apartment scrolling through TikTok. "See this nonsense trend," Chioma said, tossing her long braids over her shoulder. "People will do anything for clout these days." Amara giggled. "At least they're being honest for once. You know how fake this app is." Chioma rolled her eyes. "Honesty, my dear, is not for Lagos people. We survive by small, small lies. You tell your landlord you'll pay tomorrow, your boyfriend that you're asleep, your boss that traffic held you. That's how we breathe here." They laughed until Amara's phone buzzed. It was a message from their TikTok manager. "Amara, if you two join the number Zero Filter Challenge this weekend, I can guarantee a brand deal. It's trending globally. Just don't make it boring." Chioma's eyes lit up. "A brand deal? For saying the truth? My dear, we've been lying for free. Let's cash out." Amara hesitated. "But what if we say something that causes trouble?" "Trouble brings traffic," Chioma replied with a smirk. "And traffic brings followers. Followers bring money." Amara laughed nervously. She didn't like confrontation, but she also didn't want to disappoint her best friend or their manager, so she agreed. That night, they both posted teasers. "Tomorrow we speak the truth. No filter, no lies, no mercy. Number Zero Filter Challenge." The internet exploded with excitement. Fans couldn't wait. What no one knew was that before the challenge ended, blood would be spilled and truth would turn deadly. Saturday morning came bright and noisy. Lagos was awake, honking and hustling as always. Amara set up the tripod in their living room, the golden lights from the window bouncing off her face. Chioma was still upstairs doing her makeup, so Amara decided to start her honesty run with something light-hearted. Her first truth was about her ex-boyfriend. "He cheated on me with his cousin," she said, laughing. "Yes, you heard right. Family meeting kind of cheating." Her followers went wild in the comments, sending laughing emojis, shocked reactions, and clapping hands. It was all fun, easy, and playful. Then Chioma joined the live. She looked stunning, lashes, gloss, confidence dripping from every pore. "It's time for me to talk, Joe," she said, grabbing the mic. "Let's tell Lagos the truth they've been hiding from." She started with harmless jokes, calling out a fellow influencer for lying about owning her car, exposing a friend who faked pregnancy for attention. Then, the viewers began to ask questions. "Chioma, who's the most fake person you know?" "Amara, what's the biggest lie you've ever told online?" Chioma chuckled. The biggest lie? That Amara is innocent. Amara froze, her laughter fading. Chioma, what do you mean? Chioma smiled wickedly. Tell them now. Tell them how you almost ruined my relationship last year. The comment section exploded. Wait, what? Drama. Chioma talk abeg. Amara's heart began to race. This wasn't planned. Chioma, not here, she whispered. Please. But Chioma leaned closer to the camera, her voice cold. You want to talk truth, right? Let's talk truth. And in that moment, the challenge turned from harmless to haunting. The viewers were glued to their screens. Chioma adjusted her seat and began to speak, her tone dripping with venom. Last year, my ex, remember Femi, the one I cried about online? Yeah, this one. She pointed to the photo frame on the shelf. He didn't cheat on me randomly. He cheated because Amara told him my secret. Amara's face went pale. Chioma, please don't. Not here, she said as Chioma snapped. Shut up, she said, her voice sharp as glass. You told him I once did a sugar daddy deal in Abuja before I met him. You told him that I wasn't the saint I pretended to be. You think I didn't know? Femi showed me the screenshots. Amara's eyes filled with tears. Chioma, I swear, it wasn't like that. He asked me if you'd ever dated someone older. I didn't even give details. But you opened your mouth, Chioma shouted. You betrayed me. You destroyed me. I lost him because of you. The chat went wild. Thousands were watching live. Some begged them to stop. Others screamed for more drama. Girls, chill. End the live. She's crying. No, don't stop, others said. But neither of them listened. Chioma stood up, her chest heaving. You are talking about honesty? Amara, tell them the full truth. Tell them how you always envied me, how you wished it was you with Femi instead of me. Amara's voice trembled as she began to deny the allegation. That's not true, Chioma. Then say it on camera, Chioma screamed. Look into this phone and swear that you never wanted my man. Everywhere fell silent as Amara's lips quivered. The truth was heavy, sharp, and dangerous. Finally, she whispered, I did, but I never touched him. Gasps filled the comments. Chioma's eyes widened, and for the very first time, she went completely still. The silence between them was so electric, heavy, almost alive. Chioma stared at Amara like she was looking at a stranger. You did what? She whispered. I just liked him, Amara stammered. It wasn't intentional. I pushed it away. You were my sister. I didn't mean to. But before Amara could finish, Chioma lunged at her. The camera shook violently as viewers screamed in the comments. What's happening? Oh my God, they're fighting. Glass shattered. Amara screamed as the two of them struggled. The phone fell to the floor, capturing only legs and shadows. Chioma, stop! Amara cried. You're hurting me. But Chioma was gone lost in rage, humiliation, and betrayal. The sounds of furniture crashing filled the stream as everywhere suddenly fell silent. Viewers watched in horror as the screen went dark. Minutes later, the live ended automatically. The phone lay on the carpet as Chioma stared at Amara, who lay there unconscious. In that moment, it was as if a fog cleared from her eyes as she ran out of the house in panic. The neighbors gathered as they rushed Amara to the hospital. The entire city of Lagos did not sleep. The video spread like wildfire as people made commentaries reacting to what had happened. Chioma's name trended at number 1, whilst Amara's came right after, wrapped in hashtags of pity and shock. By the time the ambulance arrived at Street Looks Hospital in Lekki, Amara's body was cold, her head bleeding from the fall. Nurses wheeled her in the ER as doctors rushed to save her life. Her mother arrived shortly afterwards, praying to God to save her child. Amara was her only child, and she could not stand to lose her. The police arrested Chioma and took her away. They interrogated her, and all Chioma could say was that she never meant to hurt her friend, but the live video was everywhere and nothing in the video proved that what happened was an accident. Back at the hospital, the doctors revealed that Amara was now in a coma. The news spread quickly as bloggers feasted on the news like dogs, and by morning, the internet had become a courtroom. Half of Nigeria became judges overnight. Some shouted and demanded that Chioma be locked up in Kirikiri maximum security prison. Others called it an accident, citing the video where Amara pushed her first. Hours passed, and TikTok took down the live from their platform. However, millions had already downloaded the video and were analyzing every frame, trying to decipher who moved first, who shouted louder, and even who deserved their pity. Hashtags like number justice for Amara trended on the one part, whilst number pray for Chioma was also trending right beside it. Brands cut ties with them. Their manager even released a statement saying that he had no knowledge of their personal drama. What they did not know was that their manager pushed them to do the challenge to drive engagement. The duo made so much money in one day than they had made in 6 months. Everyone capitalized on their pain, not remembering that behind those screens were two broken girls who had once loved each other like sisters. In the police, however, Chioma sat alone in tears. The room smelled of sweat, rust, and regret. She kept staring at her hands as if they no longer belonged to her. She replayed the moment again and again, the slap, the scream, the sound of glass, and the way Amara's body hit the floor. Her breath hitched every time she remembered the silence that followed. "Officer," she whispered as she asked if her friend woke up. But the officer looked up at her and revealed that he had no update. Chioma pressed her palms together as she began to sob quietly, rocking herself like a child. The influencer, who once bragged about being fearless, now trembled in complete fear. Her phone had been seized, but she could still hear it buzzing in her mind. Comments, DMs, notifications. Every buzz sounded like the world was calling her a monster. And yet, beneath all the guilt, a small, terrified voice prayed that Amara wakes up, because if she died, Chioma would never breathe freely again. For 3 days, Amara did not move. Her mother barely ate. Her eyes were red, swollen, and in pain. People came to the hospital like pilgrims, her friends, her classmates, and even fans. Some paid her a visit for clout, hoping to make content that would go viral. Then, one evening, as rain battered the hospital windows, Amara's fingers twitched slightly. "Doctor!" her mother screamed, revealing that her finger moved. Nurses rushed in. Monitors beeped louder. Hope flooded the room like light through darkness. But the doctor shook his head softly, revealing to her that it was just reflex. "The brain is still fighting to live," he said to her mother, who knelt by the bed, clutching her daughter's hand. "Fight, my child. Don't let them win. Wake up and show the world that you are a fighter," she said to Amara, who lay there motionless. On the morning of the 4th day, just as the first rays of sunlight filtered through the blinds of St. Luke's Hospital, Amara's heartbeat began to slow. Her mother arrived at the hospital that morning to the sound of the monitors flatlining. "Doctor! Doctor!" she screamed, shaking her daughter's body as the nurses all rushed in. The room filled with chaos, syringes, defibrillators, prayers, commands, everything that could save her life. However, it was already too late, as Amara's pulse was gone. Her soft brown eyes that once shone with laughter remained closed forever. Her spirit slipped away quietly, leaving only silence behind. The news hit Lagos like thunder. By noon, every blog, every TV station, every gossip page carried the same headline. TikTok star Amara is dead, Chioma charged with murder. Crowds gathered outside St. Luke's Hospital. Some came to mourn, others came to record. The world that once loved their laughter now feasted on their tragedy like vultures on a carcass. When the police told Chioma that Amara was gone, she broke completely. Her knees gave way. She screamed till her voice cracked. "I didn't kill her. I only slapped her. I didn't know she would die," she cried. her hands trembling as the handcuffs clicked shut. The officers didn't respond. They'd seen the viral video. They'd watched the fall. To them, the case was clear. They dragged her into the van as camera flashes blinded her from every corner. People shouted at her, cursed her, spat on the ground. Murderer. Influencer turned killer. See what clout has caused. Chioma could barely breathe. She kept whispering under her breath, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. But her words drowned under the noise of public judgment. The prison walls smelled of sweat, rust, and fear. Chioma sat in a corner, her hair messy, her makeup long gone. She stared at her hands, the same hands that had once held brand deals, microphones, and millions of followers now chained, trembling, and cursed. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Amara's face bleeding, lifeless, still. And the moment her hand struck her, the moment the laughter stopped, the moment everything went dark. Officer, please, she whispered again. I only slapped her. I didn't know she would die. But no one listened. Days turned into weeks. She stopped eating, stopped speaking. The world had already judged her guilty. Then one morning, 3 weeks after Amara's supposed death, everything changed. A nurse from Street Luke's hospital ran into the station, breathless and trembling. She was carrying a flash drive. Sir, she said to the inspector in charge, you need to see this. They plugged it into a laptop. The room went silent. It was CCTV footage from the hospital's ICU wing, recorded at 4:23 a.m. on the morning Amara died. The video showed a man entering Amara's hospital room quietly, wearing a hoodie and surgical mask. He glanced around, then closed the door behind him. He stood over her bed for a few seconds, then slowly pulled a syringe from his pocket. He injected something directly into her IV drip. Seconds later, Amara's body jerked, her monitor flatlined. The man dropped the syringe, kissed her forehead, and whispered something no one could hear. Then he slipped out the door as silently as he came. When the nurse paused the video and zoomed in, the officers gasped. The man was Femi, Chioma's ex-boyfriend, the same man that was the subject of the fight that led to the whole tragedy. The next morning, police stormed Femi's apartment in Aja. He tried to run, but they caught him at the gate. At first, he denied everything, until they showed him the footage which showed his face clearly. Tears poured down his face as he began to confess. I didn't mean to kill her. I just wanted to stop her from talking, he said, his voice trembling. The officers looked at each other in shock. What do you mean talking? One of them asked, as Femi swallowed hard, his eyes darting from one officer to the other, as he revealed to them that Amara was pregnant with his child. The room fell silent, as the officers looked at themselves shocked. Pregnant? The inspector repeated, his brows furrowing as he stared at Femi, who nodded slowly, tears sliding down his cheeks as he began to speak. I told her to get rid of it. I wasn't ready. I told her I didn't want a child, not with her, not in this madness. But she refused. He paused, clutching his chest as if the words themselves were strangling him. She said she would keep it, and that she didn't need me, that she just wanted me to know that a part of me was growing inside of her. I begged her to end it, but she wouldn't listen. Then she found out my secret and began to blackmail me. She said that if I didn't pay her 10 million in cash, she would tell the whole world and ruin my life. I was afraid. I pleaded with her to consider. I even offered her 5 million naira cash, but she refused, saying that if I didn't pay the money, my secret would be made public. He said to the officer, who asked to know what the secret was, and Femi revealed to him that he was having an affair with his brother's wife. He exhaled deeply, guilt tightening his throat, as he revealed that his brother's children were all him. The officer stared at him in disbelief as he continued to speak. Amara found out, he whispered. She saw us together. She recorded it, a full video of my brother's wife and myself in a hotel. Amara sent it to me one night, stating that if I don't start treating her right, she would tell him everything. I begged her. I told her to delete it. But she laughed. She said she would release it if I didn't send her 5 million naira. Then she raised it to 10, then 20. She said she was tired of men using women and throwing them away. Femi buried his face in his palms as he continued to speak. That night, I couldn't sleep. I saw the video playing in my head over and over. I imagined my brother's face if he ever saw it. I imagined his wife denying everything. I imagined my life ending before it even began. So when I heard Amara was in the hospital, I thought it was my only chance. So I put on a hoodie and snuck into the hospital, pretending to be a relative, hoping that I find her phone. However, when I got there, she woke up miraculously, as if she was waiting for me to come. I asked for her phone, but she laughed weakly and said that if I didn't leave, she would send the video to my brother. Amara memorized my brother's number of heart. She threatened me that if I didn't send the money in 24 hours, she would leak the video and ruin my life. I panicked. I told her to stop talking, but she just kept going. She promised to ruin me, my career, my family, everything. The inspector's jaw tightened as he asked Femi if that was the reason why he killed her, and Femi's face contorted in anguish. No, I swear, I didn't plan to kill her. I just wanted to take her phone. I knew she recorded everything on her phone. I wanted to delete it before it destroyed my family, but she woke up at that exact moment and began to threaten me, so I had no other option but to shut her up. He said to the inspector who took him away in cuffs. Chioma heard all that happened and broke down in tears. She fell to her knees, crying as her voice disappeared into silence. So she died, not because of me, but because of him, she whispered as the inspector nodded and revealed that she would soon be released. Tears streamed down her face to realize that Amara was pregnant. Chioma had no idea. She never knew that her best friend was keeping such a secret from her. Femi was finally sentenced to life in prison. His brother divorced his wife as the video leaked online. The internet devoured it like meat, as people could not believe how a man could do such to his own brother. In the end, number D Zero Filter Challenge was banned across Africa. But the damage had already been done. Because sometimes the most dangerous truth isn't the one you tell the world, it's the one the world forces out of you. And for Amara, Chioma, and Femi, that truth came with no filter. The lesson to be learned from this story is that peer pressure and secrets can destroy lives when mixed with pride and the hunger for attention. Amara and Chioma's tragedy reminds us that not every trend is worth joining, and not every truth is meant for the public. The internet never forgets, and the crowd that cheers you today will judge you tomorrow. When you let friends, followers, or fame push you into doing what your conscience warns against, you hand your peace to the world and lose yourself in return. And when secrets are weaponized, they do not just expose others, they consume everyone involved. I hope you enjoyed the story.